Sister Laila live. Sister Laila live. Weekly for the show at the hour. Ask Sister Laila live. Sister Laila. Invite your friends and family. Make it cozy. Ask Sister Laila.
Let me pin it, and pin it, and bam, and there. Okay, so that's how you can get your questions asked. You can call in at the 862-370-2838. That'll take us to, that's our phone lines and also our WhatsApp group. Also, you can post your questions on the WhatsApp group or come into the Zoom room. And again, if there's a question that you have that I cannot answer, don't worry. Inshallah, I can contact Sheikh Morsi, who can give you the answer. So, yeah, I'll set this up too. I see it. I'm getting ready to change it now. There, purple. Is that better? Yeah, there you go. So we're color coordinated. So that's how you can get your questions answered. And just to let everybody know, today we began a new series here at Sunnahfollowers. My series on the allies of Allah and the allies of Shaitan. It goes hand in hand with what we've been discussing about the correct belief system. Please, everybody, make sure that you share that class information with everybody on your Facebook groups and your YouTube groups, because the Muslims, this is the problem today. The Muslims need to understand and grasp the correct belief system. It's something that we're lacking in. We say we believe in Allah, but we really don't. And most of us are allied with Shaitan. When you're committing those sins, you're allied with Shaitan. You want to get allied with Allah. So that's our new series. It's every day at 6:30. And also, before I begin too, Dr. Asim's class is tomorrow, and his topic is gratitude. Dr. Asim wanted me to share with everybody that he will be discussing gratitude tomorrow. You know, how to show gratitude towards Allah, which is something that I've been doing a lot lately, especially today. You know, one of the new shahadas here, I'm getting ready to answer your question, Sandra. Sandra had sent me a text message yesterday, and I wasn't able to get to it because I've been dealing with so much in my personal life. But she was saying, you know, how can we, what other than calling upon Allah using his names, what are some more things we can do that would bring us close to Allah and keep us under his umbrella of protection? Well, we have an authentic hadith where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that one of the statements that Allah loves more than any other is Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. That's what I do. When I want to show gratitude towards Allah or thank Allah or just show my love for Allah, I say that. As I'm cleaning up the house, Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. You know, you can say that. That's a great statement of remembrance that Allah loves. And Allah sends you blessings every time you say that, you know. So it's something as simple as that. And as the Prophet told one of the companions, he said it's easy on the tongue. What does that mean? It means no matter what language you speak, you can form your tongue to say, Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. La ilaha illallah. See? So you can call upon Allah with words of remembrance like that too, Sandra. That'll keep you under the protection of Allah and keep you connected to him as you're cleaning the house. Like I did today, and I was going to the grocery store, you know, just thank Allah. Think about all, especially today, guys, we're living in a terrible world where there's so much going on. We brought it on ourselves because we have deviated so badly away from the correct belief system. and we're not practicing our religion as we're supposed to, Allah has sent so many trials, so many calamities, so many tests and hardships for us. So it's so easy to get caught up in all the negativity and the bad things and the disappointments of life. Life is disappointing. Your children disappoint you. Your family disappoints you. Your job disappoints you. Your husband disappoints you. Your wife disappoints you. Somebody else disappoints you. There's so many disappointments. Take the time to think about the good things in your life, the blessings. Like I told you guys earlier, out of what's a blessing for me? I got 99 problems and a dude ain't one. That's a blessing. And I've been thinking about that all day. All the problems I got, a dude ain't one. I ain't got to worry about no dude. Okay, so think about the good things in your life. And remember Allah with words like Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, la ilaha illallah. Thank you, Allah, for giving me, the ability to handle my trials, and a dude ain't one. Yeah, Sister Nia, go ahead. You got a question or something? Go ahead. Oh.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. How are you today?
Wa alaikum salam. Alhamdulillah.
That's good. That's good. So my question is, at what age can we start saying, look, I got 99 problems, but a man ain't one? Like, what age can we say till we done looking for marriage and we exhausted? Like, is that at what age?
Well, there's nothing in Islam that you say the age that you are tired of looking for marriage. Well, what was it? What is it again? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Listen, I want to know what age is it that I can start being like you, or I can be like, listen, these men, I'd rather have a car than a man. Allah, please. Like, what age is that? Because everybody I keep talking to, they keep saying, never give up on marriage. But then I hear stories and stuff about older ladies, and they're able to not get married. When am I going to be an older lady in Islam? That's what I want to know.
Everybody is different. Everybody's different. Never give up on marriage. Marriage is a beautiful thing, guys. Allah didn't. This is something I had to. I was sharing with another sister here. Another sister. Allah says in the Quran, He created us in pairs. It's part of our nature to want to spend our life with someone else. Anybody on this earth that tells you that they happy by their self is a liar. Now, remember, there's a difference in saying I'm happy and a difference in saying and I'm content and accepting of my qadr. Allah didn't create women or men to be alone. He created us in pairs. So you never give up on marriage. I would love to get married. If I found the right man, oh my God, if a man was, I'd marry him right now. But, we don't, Islam teaches us balance. There's another form of associating partners with Allah. It's called shirk el-eshkar. What is shirk el-eshkar? That means to be discontent with the condition that you're in. Allah says this is one of the worst forms of associating partners. If you're discontent with your situation, you do something to change it. If you're unhappy in your marriage, rather than sit around complaining about it, get a divorce. Okay? If you're unhappy being single, get married. Okay? But to be discontent and complain and be mean and evil because of what your situation is, this is what Islam discourages us from doing. Peace of mind is everything. The older women that you come in contact with are women like myself. We've tried it. We would want to be married. I'd give anything to be married to the right man. but I'm not going to settle for trash. I'm not going to have no truck driver driving up to my door, with a cowboy hat on, with black teeth in his mouth, talking about, hey, what's up? And he ain't got no beard. Okay? Or some man that's not practicing the deen. I don't sell myself short. Okay? So, if you can't find what you're looking for, then you learn to be content with what you have. And that's what I meant. 99 problems, but a man ain't one. I got problems with my bills. I got problem with my family. I got problem with my children. I got problems with my website. I got problems with my health. But alhamdulillah, I ain't got no problem with no dude breathing down my throat telling me that I can't be me and trying to break me either. So Islam teaches us to look to see the good in everything and be content with that instead of complaining about what you don't have, because Allah knows what's best for us. Like I was telling you, the older women earlier, if you ain't got no husband, Allah knows what's best for you. Maybe your husband's waiting in paradise, but why are you going to sit there and cry over that? You better keep it moving. Find something else. But you never give up on marriage. Anybody that says they happy by themselves is a liar, because that ain't how Allah created us as human. That's not how he created the jinn. Even the animals have a mate. Come on now, get real. So no, you never give up on marriage, but learn to be content with your situation. Don't be miserable and unhappy and all like that, like you see some of these women are, because they don't have a husband, they don't pray, they don't wear hijab, all that dumb stuff. No, get a life. Keep it moving. Life is too short. Look to the good things you got. You got a nice car. You got a place to live. You can do whatever you want. If you want to travel to the moon, you can. You ain't got to ask nobody's permission. You ain't got to deal with no man cheating you of your rights. You don't have to deal with a man not calling you. You ain't got to deal with that drama that other women dealing with, that you hear other women dealing with. So look to the good things like that. That's what we mean by that. But if a man was the right kind of man, you think Laila would sit here? I'd jump up in a heartbeat. Yeah. So you understand? I hope you young girls understand. It ain't got nothing to do with age. It's all about understanding your purpose in life and having your priorities together. Look at Norto. Norto is, how old are you, Norto? Norto is 26 years old. She's content. I'm trying to get her married. I'm trying to get her and her sister to get married right now, because they're 24 and 26. But they're telling me, I got 99 problems, Laila, and the man ain't one. They don't want the problem. They content with what they're doing. But I'm trying to tell both of you need to get married now. You're about to graduate from college. It's time to get married. But they'll tell you it's not on my list because I'm content. They're content with their mother and father. Their father spoils them rotten. They're content with how they are, but they're beautiful, they're young, they're religious. They need to get married. Yeah. So y'all understand that, young girls? Yeah. And that's exactly, Sister Sandra said, that prevents you from becoming depressed. When you look to the good things in life, it prevents you from becoming depressed over the things you don't have in life. Like the prophet said, look to those who are beneath you. That'll make you be more humble. I look to all those women beneath me who call me up all day long complaining about how their husbands treat them wrong. And I say, wow, I got a lot of problems, but a dude ain't one. Because I ain't going to deal with that. So, that's what we mean by that. Okay, and here's a question from Sister Fatima. MashaAllah, Sister Fatima, it's good to see you. He said, Sister Laila, if we have guests who stay in our house, are we obligated to wake them up for Fajr prayer? Okay, this is the thing, guys, about Muslims. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the greatest weapon that we have against shaitan is each other, because we enjoying the good, we forbid the evil with each other. If you got guests staying in your house, they're Muslims. They should want to wake up for Fajr. So this is something that you guys shouldn't even go without asking. When it's time for Fajr, you knock on their door and say it's time for Fajr, and you keep it moving. Do you have to go in their bedroom and pour water on their face? No. Do you have to yell and scream at them until they wake up? No. But in Islam, we enjoying the good. So you will let them know when the time for Fajr comes in, you politely knock on the door and say it's time for Fajr. And if they say, okay, thank you, then that's it. You don't have to go in there and do no more, because the rest is on them. Do you understand, Sister Fatima? So if they're staying in the house, that's what you do. Knock on the door and say it's time for Fajr and keep it moving. Yeah. Everybody understand? Or if they come to an agreement, maybe your guest might tell you, you don't have to wake me up. Just give me an alarm clock. You can do that. You can give them an alarm clock and set the alarm for Fajr. They hear it go off, it's on them. But yes, you should knock on the door and let them know, or do something, give them an alarm clock or something, because that's what we're about. As Muslims, we enjoy the good, we forbid the evil with each other. Yeah, and Allah knows best. Exactly. Any other questions? Just type them here on the screen, guys. Yeah, you can just type, even in the Zoom room, you can just type them in there too. Yeah, exactly.
Question here. The question is, if I have debts owed and I am unable to pay it off before I pass, will my soul still be in between the two worlds?
Of course, that's the hadith. If you don't pay off your debts, yes, that's why I got consolidated. Y'all better take care of that. That should be your thing. You don't want to die and with your soul between the two worlds. And by the way, if your soul was a good soul. If your soul wasn't a good soul, it's going to hell. Y'all understand that? The soul, that hadith about the soul being between the two worlds, is for the person that was a good Muslim. It's going to keep him from being that green bird in paradise. But if you were a bad Muslim, you going to hell. You don't pass go and you don't collect $200. All right? But you don't, and that's a sin. By the way, owing debts is a sin in Islam. That's why you need to take care of it. That's why you people in the Zoom room, y'all heard me talking about it. I consolidated mine. When you see that your debts are too much, you can't pay them off, you better call and get some consolidation going on. Works, make some arrangements out with your credit. There's a lot of consolidation companies out there, and they don't charge money. It's part of, they take their money out of whatever they consolidate. So you need to get on the telephone to a consolidation company. There's a million of them, and consolidate your bills so that way they can get settlements on them and you can pay them things off. Otherwise, yes, if you a good Muslim, it can keep you from paradise. If you a bad Muslim, you going to hell anyway. Okay, y'all understand that?
Yeah, and another sister wants to know, should we marry with debts?
That ain't got nothing to do with marriage. That's something that you need to fix, because your husband ain't responsible for your debts. And I answered this question before. I want you women to understand, when you get married, it's your job, your husband's job, to feed you when he feed himself, clothe you when he clothes himself. But that's because he's married to you. Any bills you had before he married you, he ain't responsible for, because that's your problem and your father's problem. So debt ain't got nothing to do with marriage. Debt has nothing to do with marriage. But if you need to understand that your husband is not responsible for any bills that you made before he even knew you, that ain't his problem. That's your problem to pay him. Allah does not hold us accountable for the sins of someone else. Everybody understand that? So if you want to get married, get married. It ain't got nothing to do with your debts. You got to figure that out on your own. Look into a consolidation. Yeah. Everybody understand that? Yeah. Because let me tell y'all something. Debts is one of the number one reasons why a lot of people end up divorced too. So you need to take care of that stuff. Okay, here's another question. Sister Pamela, is having whole life insurance haram? If you're talking about, if that's, yeah, it's haram. Exactly, it's haram. That's the one that brings interest. That's haram. That's the one that gets interest. Interest is haram. Okay? I don't know what IUL is. You need to spell it out. I don't know what that stands for. I don't know what an IUL stands for. Yeah. But anything that entails interest is haram. Yeah, get the other type of life insurance that doesn't accumulate interest.
So it's not just we can't buy things that charge us interest and not, we're also not able to provide products and charge interest for it. We're not able to do anything where we get interest either, like what is it, my savings account, it has interest.
Okay, interest, I want y'all to realize some things you can't get around. Some things you can't get around, and it falls in a category which I'm going to teach y'all about when we go over the law for the unlawful. Because you can't get, like, for example, car insurance. You have to have car insurance. It's haram because it's betting. It's a gamble. You have to have apartment insurance. But you can't, this is haram, but there's nothing we can do. If you live in America, you can't drive a car without insurance. If you live in America and you rent, you got to have insurance. So Allah will temporarily excuse you from that. As long if it's something that you couldn't get around. Okay, but as far as interest is haram. And a savings account is haram because you can get around that. You get rid of that savings account and get a checking account, a no interest checking account. Okay. And Sister Pamela, IRA, I hear people talk about IRAs. IRA is your retirement money. And I've heard some brothers out there saying that it's haram. I don't know where they get that from, because that's your money that you put in so that when you retire, you can live. Maybe these brothers come from Muslim countries. They come from Middle Eastern countries where the government takes care of them. America doesn't have that type of system. You have to pay into a retirement plan. And if that's your retirement plan, how can they say that that's haram? What are you going to do when you die? How are you going to live? America will throw you in the street. Who's going to live in a box? You got a lot of people. Look at LA. They all living in boxes because they didn't have an IRA. So I don't know about this Roth stuff, but if an IRA is your retirement, that's your job. Then there's nothing you can do. That's your money. You're paying into that. But if you're talking about an IRA where you just take out for yourself to accumulate interest, that's haram. That's haram. If it's an IRA that you took out just so you can accumulate interest, that's haram. But if it's with your job for retirement, There's nothing wrong with that. And Allah knows best. We have to live. Okay? Yeah, but a checking account, no Muslim should have a savings account. Get a checking account. No interest checking accounts. You can get no interest credit cards. Don't y'all know that? That's what happened to Laila. That's why I'm consolidated. I had a whole bunch of no interest credit cards, and they done piled up. Okay, so I gotta take care of this, get this stuff off, settle, make some settlements, and pay them off. Okay, interest is haram, guys. We have to avoid it as much as possible as Muslims. And there are other alternatives. No interest credit cards are available. Secured, no interest credit card. That's how I got in trouble. Ain't no interest I'm paying. It's just a lot of money. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You can't get health insurance. You have to have health insurance too. You can't get around that. Burial insurance, you have to have burial insurance. Otherwise, they're going to burn you when you die. When it's haram, you have to have that. Renter's insurance, you have to have. Car insurance, you have to have. But all this other stuff, do you have to have it? No. Exactly. Yeah, okay. Did you understand the answer too, Sister Nia? Sister Nia?
Yes, ma'am. I definitely understand, and thank you for clarifying. Because it's so hard to know the rules, and America is just so different.
Yeah, well, like I said, but there, thanks to the Jews in America, that's something that the Jewish people did. You can get no interest stuff now because it's against their religion too. And America's a Judeo-Christian society. The Jews run America. So yeah, you can get a no interest credit card now too, y'all. Y'all know that. No interest checking account. Leasing. That's why I lease. I lease because I don't want to pay interest. When you lease a car, it's no interest involved. That's why I like leasing. I don't pay no interest on my car. I lease for 2 years and get a new car. Lease another 2 years, get another new car. Yeah. You can get around the interest. You really can. Just don't be a fool like I was and get all them no interest credit cards and just charge. Yeah. Exactly, Sister Sandra. Yes, go ahead, Brother Amir. Yeah, just type your question. You can type it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is a good yeah, okay. Okay, let me share this question with y'all from one of the new shahadas here. This sister says that before she started coming to these classes, she did not know that it's haram to vote in elections. She says she listened to my lecture today, and she was one of the people that not only voted, she was campaigning for the rainbow people and everything. She said, how do you repent? The good thing is Allah does not hold you accountable, sister, for what you did not know. Allah will temporarily excuse you for what you did not know. You just became Muslim. You did not know that we don't participate in elections. You did not know that we don't believe in democracy, that a democracy contradicts our Islamic morals. You did not know that it's forbidden in Islam for a Muslim to appoint a non-Muslim as a ruler over them. So you didn't know. So Allah has excused you from that. But now that you do know, make sure you don't do it again. That's all. Islam is easy. It's not as hard as people try to make it out. And Allah is more forgiving than anything else. Now, for those Muslims that knew it was haram, but they too weak to say no to their desires, they got to answer to Allah for that. They have to answer to Allah for being emotionally distraught. They better get control of their emotions. Like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he said, one of the things that will lead to our destruction is we are too emotional. We don't have the intelligence that the Christians have. The Christians think, they use their logic, whereas we Muslims, we operate off of emotions. We'll allow our emotions to get the better of us and cause us to transgress the limits of Allah. And that's what you Muslims are doing. Y'all allowing y'all personal, weak emotions to overcome you. You ain't thinking. The companions were at war from the time they converted to Islam to their death. War ain't nothing new. We got less war today than what they had then. War has always been happening. But is that a reason to disobey Allah? No. But Muslims today are weak. They don't have that strength and that certainty of faith that those companions had. And that's why Allah is sending war, and he's going to keep sending it. It ain't going nowhere. It comes from Allah, and he ain't stopping it. Okay? Yeah, maybe it'll make us stronger. Exactly, sister. Okay, she also typed here, she said it makes sense. She said, how can we expect America to stop something that they started anyway? Exactly. They don't like us. They're never going to do anything for us. So why do these Muslims run to them, voting for them like they're gods and goddesses? They even voted for the LGBTQ lady. It's just sad. We're weak. That's how we are. We're a weak nation. Alhamdulillah. But that's why Allah has guided you here, sister, so you can learn. You know, no one's taught you these things since you've been Muslim. Well, now Allah, that's the beauty of Islam. Allah says anyone who is sincere about learning this religion, he will guide you to the proper sources. So alhamdulillah, sister, Allah has guided you here. So now you know it's haram. Exactly. And it makes sense. All of Allah's laws and rules make sense. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Brother Amir. What is this? Yes. Okay, he's asking me about the winter again. Okay, he said that he was told by one of the brothers that if he overslept and if he went to sleep at night and overslept, didn't make his winter prayer, that he could make it after Fajr. Is this correct? Yes. Just like those hadiths that we went over where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was seen making 2 rakats after Asr, or 4 rakats after Asr, and the people asked him, were there sunnah prayers? And he said, no, there are no sunnahs of Asr, but he was making up the sunnah rakats he missed of Dhuhr. So it's the same thing. If it's in your habit, if you're accustomed, if that's your normal habit to make the winter prayer, but you overslept, then yes, you can make it after Fajr. Exactly. Yes, you can. And Allah knows best.
Next question is it possible for a person to go from being an ally of Allah to an ally of Shaitan and vice versa?
Happens every day. Remember the hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, as the signs of the last hour increase, as we get closer and closer to the last hour, some people will wake up a believer and go to bed at night a kafir. And some people will wake up a kafir and go to bed a believer. Yes, it happens every day. I'm sure you hear about people who were good Muslims and then you find out a year later that they apostated or that they're not good anymore. Yeah, people does do that. Faith is like a pot of boiling water. It goes up and down. I know a lot of women that used to come to my classes. They stopped coming to my classes and look at them now. Sad. You know, when we stop learning about our religion, when we leave our faith-filled environment, when we stop surrounding ourselves with righteous people and we replace them with irrighteous people, then yes, we'll lose our faith and end up an ally of Shaitan. Some of these famous speakers used to be allies of Allah. Allah knows, and by the way, guys, Allah knows best who his allies are. I want y'all to understand that. I'm speaking generally. Allah knows best who his allies are. I don't know. All we can do is look at ourselves and see if we have the signs, the characteristics. That's why I was teaching y'all today. But I can't tell you that you an ally of Allah. I can't say that I am either because only Allah knows. But I can look at myself and see if I have the characteristics that we talked about today. Do I believe in Allah? Do I obey his commands? Do I fulfill my obligations towards him? Do I do extra deeds to get closer to him? Okay. Do I pick and choose what part of this religion I want to practice? Do I look for excuses to get out of obeying him? You know, you can look at yourself and see if you have those qualities that Allah has mentioned, but only Allah knows who is true, the true allies are. Y'all understand that? Let me make that clear. Just like only Allah knows who's going to paradise and who isn't. Only Allah knows who's going to hell. Only Allah knows who's going to paradise. Only Allah knows who his allies are. But he's given us the tools to use to look within ourselves to see if we are guided to the right way. You understand? But yes, people look at Shaitan. Shaitan used to be an ally of Allah. He fell from that to the head of the enemy of Allah, the enemy of Allah. Allah allowed Shaitan to live in paradise amongst the angels. He favored him. Shaitan is a jinn, but Allah favored him. He was an ally of Allah originally, but after Allah created Adam, his jealousy overcame him. And now he fell to being an enemy. He went from being an ally of Allah to an enemy of Allah. So yes, it happens all the time. Iblis is a great example. And Allah knows best. Okay, next question. Any other ones in there? Yes, go ahead, sister. What's your name here? Sister Kimmy. Kimmy, go ahead. Okay, Kimmy says, I do not wear hijab. Is this a bad thing? Of course, this is a bad thing. Yeah, anytime we deliberately and knowingly disobey Allah, that's a bad thing. As Muslim women, we are obligated to wear hijab. We are obligated to cover our bodies when we go out the house publicly. That's an obligation, just like praying is. So the simple fact that you refuse to do it, yeah, that's very bad. And Allah could punish you for that if he wants to. So you need to try to wear hijab. You know, remember, Allah tells us in the Quran that another sign of an ally of his is his allies. They simply say, "Oh Allah, I hear you," and "Oh Allah, I obey you." They don't disobey Allah like that. They know that Allah said wear hijab, the women wear hijab. They don't sit there and ask why, and I'm not going to do it. And by the way, guys, when you're deliberately, intentionally disobeying Allah, none of your good deeds are accepted by Allah either. So the simple fact that you don't wear hijab, that means Allah is not accepting any of your prayers. He's not accepting your charity. He's not accepting any of your good deeds because you are deliberately, intentionally disobeying him. And remember, the prophet said, whenever we commit a sin, whatever faith that was in your heart, it leaves and it don't come back until you stop it. So you can do the math right there and answer that question yourself. Is it a bad thing that you're deliberately not wearing a hijab? I would think it is. Okay, and the law knows best. Yeah, go ahead. Any other questions in the Zoom?
Yeah, the next question is, as Muslims, can we celebrate New Year's like setting goals and having a New Year resolution?
No, because once again, this is not a matter of haram. It's a matter of wala wal bara, allegiance. Again, the allies of Allah. The allies of Allah. What's that 3 verses we read today? Allah says in the Quran, the allies of Allah, their allegiance is to him and to the Prophet Muhammad and to the Muslims and Islam. Okay, New Year's has nothing to do with Islam. It has nothing to do with Allah. What do you mean, resolutions? Allah teaches us to self-evaluate on a regular basis. The Kafirs, they wait till the first of the year to do self-evaluation. That contradicts our Islamic morals. Allah commands us as Muslims to make resolutions on a regular basis, to do self-evaluation and see what changes you need to make within yourself on a regular basis. So that ideology alone contradicts our Islamic morals. So we do el-bara. We distance ourselves from that. We distance ourselves from making resolutions once a year. We distance ourselves. Plus, January 1st has nothing to do. It's just another day in the life of Riley. So what is there to celebrate? So again, the non-Muslims look for reasons to party. The non-Muslims take life as a joke. Like Allah says, they look at the life of this world as nothing but mere pleasure and amusement and fun. We're Muslims. We don't look at this world as amusement and fun. We look at this world for what Allah has told us it is, which is a testing ground. So yes, we do not take part in New Year celebrations, just like we don't take part in Thanksgiving celebrations, just like we don't take part in Valentine's Day, just like we don't take part in Patriots Day, because none of these days, none of these celebrations are a part of our culture. And our culture is Islam, which means total submission to Allah. And Allah didn't tell us that those are anything to celebrate. He didn't tell us nowhere to celebrate the first of the year, nowhere to celebrate take one day out the year to thank him. He says thank him every day. So I hope I answered your question. You should not take part in none of these non-Muslim celebrations. Those Muslims living in America, you shouldn't take part in any of them. All because of wala wal bara, our allegiance. Your allegiance is to Allah, the Prophet, the Muslims, and the religion of Islam, not anything else. Not a flag, not a country, not a race, not a creed, none of that. Like the Prophet said, anyone who celebrates holidays with people who are not Muslim are not of us. So you're not of us. And you wonder why Allah isn't sending anything good to you. You're not one of us. The allies of Allah, we celebrate only what Allah commanded us to celebrate. And that's the Eid al-Adha and the Eid al-Fitr. That's it. And Allah knows best. Yeah. Okay, this brother here said, Sister Laila, you make it sound so simple. He said, and when you explain it, it makes me not want to ever participate in any of those holidays. Good, because you're not supposed to. And it is simple. It's all about allegiance. Those 2 verses we went over today in class. Allah said that. Where's your allegiance? Is it to the pilgrims? Is it to the Native Americans? Is it to Cupid? Is it to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Is it to, where's your allegiance? It's to Allah, to the Prophet, and to the Muslims. That's it. Yeah. Okay, any other questions in there? Yeah. No, that's not true. The sister here is asking, she said, you have such a good way to explain things, Sister Laila. I bet you were able to explain to your kids. No, don't you guys know? We went over that hadith. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the stronger your faith and the more knowledge you have of Allah and this religion, the greater your trials will be. And Allah will test you with the things that are most dear to you. And what's the thing most dear to us is our children. And the Prophet said, no one is tested more severely than the prophets of Allah. Okay? The prophets of Allah. Noah could call, but he couldn't call his own wife. Noah's wife betrayed him. Okay? Noah's oldest son betrayed him. It's always the family, your wives, your children that disappoint you. The stronger your faith is. Look at Prophet Lot. He was betrayed by his wife too. So don't think that the people who understand the religion got a perfect relationship with their kids and their kids are goody two-shoes. You will find that the people who understand the religion and try to live it to the best, you will find that their children are the worst children. Because that's the way Shaitan works. If Shaitan cannot get you, what did he tell Allah? He will attack you from the front, from the back, from the right, from the left. If you're strong in your faith and your belief and practice, and Shaitan know he can't get you, he's going to get you your children. And if he can't get your children, he's going to get your grandkids. And if he can't get them, he's going to get your great-grandkids. That's the way Shaitan works. Shaitan couldn't get Noah, so he got his wife and his son. He couldn't get Lot, so he got his wife. So that's why they say the minister's children are always the worst. Haven't y'all heard that saying? The minister's children are always the worst, because that's how Shaitan works. If he can't get you, he coming after your children. And if you ain't got no children, he coming after your parents and your brothers and sisters. So no, don't sit there thinking, oh, she must have good. No, my biggest disappointment are my children. I ain't no different than Noah. Alayhi salam. The stronger you are. Exactly. That's true. That's an old saying, and it's true. The preacher's kids are the worst ones. Can give dawah to everybody but your own. Your own won't listen to you. Don't get it twisted.
Sister Laila, can you tell me about Islam's rules on adoption? I know that we shouldn't give children that are adopted our last name because we need to let them have their own identity. But is there anything else besides, treating them fairly? Because I think I'm about to go on that venture with my niece, and I just want to know before I,
Yeah, it's real easy. The answer is easy. Adoption is haram, haram, haram. We cannot adopt children in Islam. We sponsor. We don't adopt. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that's one of the worst sins we can do because the child don't belong to you. It's fraud. It's not true. We don't adopt.
But what if the parent no longer wants the child?
You can sponsor.
Like foster care?
Yeah, that's a form of sponsoring.
Okay.
But adoption is haram. You do not take a child and then bring it into your life and file paperwork saying that child is now yours. We don't do that. That's haram. That's another sacrilege that too many people are doing. No, you can sponsor. If it's your niece, that means she's your niece. She's your blood. The court's going to give her to you anyway. You can go to court. I'm a paralegal too. Go to court and file a paper for it's called guardianship. You can take guardianship over your niece. But we cannot adopt. Adoption is haram, haram, haram. That's another major sin that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said anyone who adopts a child is not one of us. It destroys the family. It destroys the blood ties. That's your niece. That means she is legally your relative. All you got to do is get legal guardianship of her. And that's not through adoption. That's just going to court, filing the paperwork, saying that I want guardianship of my niece. And that's it. Real easy. Yeah. Precious does it all the time. On my website, Precious got guardianship of half the people in her family. Precious got about 50,000 children that she got guardianship over. They all her blood. You know, Mexicans do that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know either? The brother here said he didn't know adoption's haram. Yes, it is. That's what happens. Y'all listen to these brothers try to sugarcoat this ding for you. Adoption is a sacrilege in Islam. We don't adopt nobody, but you can get guardianship over people. Yeah. Especially living in America, if the person's an unfit parent, they'll give legal guardianship to anybody. But if you a blood relation, they give it to you over anybody else. Yeah. Yeah, you can get legal guardianship, but not adoption. That's how we know who our parents and who our mahrams are. Exactly. Yeah. See, the sister here said that makes sense too. She said everything in Islam makes sense. Exactly. That's what I want all of you to understand. All of Allah's laws and all of his rules make sense. Therefore, our betterment, because he's the creator and he knows his creation better than anyone else. There are no flaws. Remember, we talked about that? There are no flaws. There are no defects in Allah's names. There are no flaws. There are no defects in his attributes. And there are no flaws and there are no defects in his laws. That's why if we Muslims just did things the way Allah said, we'd be better off. We'd be more happy and everything else. But unfortunately, we're hard-headed. We're stubborn. We don't do what Allah said do.
Can we let people come to our home who are not Muslims?
What are they coming
Can,
here for?
stay in our homes?
For what reason?
Let's say that they were just, displaced, or let's say they're from out of town, family, because I have a lot of family.
Oh, they're relatives, right? They're
yes.
Oh, that's different. Yes.
Okay.
But
okay.
Make sure they ain't no bad people like dopers, druggers, gay people that we distance ourselves from.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that's family. You can always, there's blessings in entertaining your family members, guys. Just make sure if it's not, if it's anything other from a cousin up, that you ain't alone with the person. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's a male, you can't even be alone with your cousin. So make sure that if it's not a man, because you can't live with no man alone. That you can marry, Now if it's your brother, your nephews are mahrams to you. Yeah.
It's all coming together now. So let's say that I do sponsor a child that's not family, like in foster care or something like that. And
foster care is legal.
To, stay forever. And they, said that they were going to follow the Islam faith. You're right. They since we can never adopt, like my children, they would have to be, dressed modestly around each other 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And you can't leave them in the house with them alone. Yep.
Right.
So everything, that's what the sister here was typing too. Everything makes sense. Yeah, Allah has no defects in his laws. He makes the laws for our betterment. It would be less child molestation. It'll be less sex and all that abuse going on to people with live by the laws of Allah. We don't live by laws and rules, and we wonder why we got incest cases. We got children molested and hanky-panky stanky going on and all. That's my cousin, but I'm pregnant by my cousin. Yeah, hanky-panky stanky. Yeah. If we would just respect and live by Allah's laws, we'd be better off. That's why those companions, the best was those 3 generations of Muslims. They lived by the laws and rules and guidelines of Allah, and they got along fine. And Allah blessed them over and over and over again with paradise too. They'll be those original companions. They will be of those 75,000 that enter paradise without being judged, because they lived by his laws, his rules without question. And they didn't have all these sick issues. Exactly.
We have another question here. The question is, if I do not want my relatives staying with me for a week or 2, is this considered breaking the ties of kinship because someone told me that?
This is why people need to use a dictionary. Like I said, we don't even understand our own language. To break something means to cut it off, to have nothing to do with. To break the ties of kinship means that you no longer talk to, see, inquire, or go around a person that it's like that person is dead. Breaking the ties of kinship does not mean I tell my brother, don't bring your behind over my house today. That's not breaking the ties of kinship. Breaking the ties of kinship is to say you're nothing to me. I have nothing to do with you. You got nothing to do to me. And I separate completely like you're dead. That's what breaking the ties are. You guys need to get an American dictionary and carry it in your pocket and look up the meaning of break ties. Okay? Stop letting ignorant people tell you things that's just ludicrous. In other words, things that are just so funny and ridiculous that you like, what? Oh, so I just broke the tie because I told my brother that he couldn't come over today. So I broke the tie of kinship. Who did you break yours with? Oh, well, my sister wanted me to go shopping for her. I told her I got things to do. So I broke my tie with her. Oh, well, what about me? I told my mother that I wasn't going to go to the doctor appointment with her. So I broke my tie too. How stupid is that? Get a dictionary, people. Seriously. To sever the tie means you have nothing to do with this person at all. It's like that person is dead. The person doesn't exist. Everybody understand what it means now? Okay.
Question is, I'm afraid that when Ramadan comes, I'll fail because I get so thirsty. I take meds that make me so dry mouth. What advice do you have?
There is no such thing as that. My advice is you better work on your belief system, sweetheart. You better kick that shaitan that's on you to the curb, because ain't nobody that thirsty that they can't go 6 hours without drinking something. That might work with somebody that's stupid, but it don't work with Laila Nasheeba. So you want my honest to God answer? You need to get a life and you need to stop fooling yourself. And you need to say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim to your personal jinn. And you need to start praying. Because if you're looking for an excuse to not fast, that means you probably ain't praying either. You need to get up and make fajr and start making all your prayers every day. And then you'll be able to submit to fasting. You mean to tell me that you're such a glutton that you can't go 6 to 8 hours without eating or drinking? Are you obese? Are you fat? Are you a pig? What is it?
I'm fat and addicted to food.
Well, you better overcome it. Then you need to work on that. That's your weakness.
I'm working on it, man.
Everybody can fast. If I got 6-year-old children that can fast, what makes you think you can't? You better fast, girl. You ain't that thirsty. You can go 6 or 8 hours. We only fast from Fajr to Maghrib.
I be feeling like it.
Girl, that's weakness. That's your jinn. Tell your jinn, A'udhu billahi, bounce, dude. And by the way, guys, for the new shahadas, I will help you during the month of Ramadan. We will walk you through each day. You know, I will prepare you 2 weeks before, and each day we will fast together. Okay, so don't worry, you'll get through this Ramadan. But I'm telling you, if you guys can't go without putting something in your mouth for 6 to 8 hours, boy, that's the purpose of Ramadan too. You get to see what your weaknesses are. So your weakness is food, which is okay. There's a lot of our weaknesses. Okay, but we're going to train you. Ramadan is all about training your body, training your mind, training your heart and your soul. So you'll get through it. It's not hard. It's going to go by so fast. You'll be like, didn't we just start fasting? It's time to break it. Yeah. So you don't worry. You'll be all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna take your advice too on that.
Yeah.
Helping out.
But I'll be online.
My breath starts stinking.
Oh, your breath will stink, but you just brush your teeth. What's wrong with that? So what? Brush your teeth and use mouthwash.
Does that break your fast?
No. That's why I'm saying, y'all, whatever y'all think Ramadan is, it ain't like y'all think. It's easy. You can do everything except eat and have sexual relations with your husband. That's all. You can brush your teeth, use mouthwash, and all that other stuff.